Fat chance. Matthew's here with the business. Some steep drops in Asian markets this Thursday.
That's right.
Matthew.
Not all smiles on the Asian markets. It seems today, Stuart, they're all doing pretty badly, all down around 2% or even more in the case of the Hang Seng there in Hong Kong. That's at a 9-month low. Now, there's two main things driving what's going on there. One, comments from the head of America's central bank, Bernanke. Now, he has said that a huge bond buying program that investors have liked because it's helping to boost the economy there could be on the way out. He says that it'll continue for now, but based on the way the economy is going, he expects it to wrap up by mid next year. Let's take a listen.
If the incoming data are broadly consistent with this forecast, the committee currently anticipates that it would be appropriate to moderate the monthly pace of purchases later this year. And if the subsequent data remain broadly aligned with our current expectations for the economy, we would continue to reduce the pace of purchases in measured steps through the first half of next year, ending purchases around mid-year.
So those comments from Ben Bernanke are one factor, but another is data out of China on manufacturing. And just as last month, it's not painting a great picture. In fact, it's down. Now, this is PMI data and down on the May figure and still below that important 50 point. That means that manufacturing, in fact, is contracting there. So that's making investors nervous.
Let's come back a little closer to home, us here in Paris, France. Economic problems dominating a big gathering of business, unions and government today.
Yes, now it's the second so-called social conference, they're calling it here, where they're bringing, as you say, those three very different but important groups together. And this year, jobs, not surprisingly, given the unemployment rate, are top of the agenda. Mark Edwards has more.
France's second annual social conference kicks off in Paris on Thursday. But whereas the 2012 edition was full of congeniality, this year's atmosphere will be far more strained amid a backdrop of rising unemployment, an unaffordable public sector and minimal growth. Employment is the stated priority of the two-day meeting of cabinet ministers, business management and trade unions.
For us, it's a social conference which has to lead to something concrete, especially with regards to employment.
The ultimate priority for us is to stop all the politics and to have a real recovery plan. The unemployment rate is unsustainable.
Three thorny issues will head up the majority of the talks: pensions, training for the unemployed, and the status of France's bloated civil service. The unions want clarification on the number of years French people will have to work to obtain a full pension.
One of the main points will be the debate on retirement. Even though we know that the government won't be making any announcements at the social conference, it will be a chance for everyone to explain their positions regarding retirement.
Whilst Hollande refuses to alter the sacrosanct official retirement age of 62, the number of contributing years to the pension system is likely to be increased. Hollande also wants to establish a personal training account for the unemployed, where half of all jobless should be offered training within 2 months of applying for benefits. Privately, however, the government has already said it expects no breakthrough on the questions of pensions or training during the two-day talks.
Let's get some of the day's company news now. And Britain is preparing to sell part of its stake in the Lloyds Banking Group. The government took a 39% holding during the financial crisis. Finance Minister George Osborne said he's also looking at whether to break up the Royal Bank of Scotland. The state holds an 81% share of that. $100 billion were needed to rescue those two banks in 2008.
French books and music retailer FNAC is going to be listed on the stock market this Thursday. It's being spun off by its owner, the luxury group PPR, which changed its name, of course, to Kering this week. Shares will start trading at €22. The company suffered from falling sales in recent years as more shoppers go online.
And the operator of the tunnel linking Britain and France, Eurotunnel, could see its fees cut by as much as half. The European Commission says that current charges are excessive and are leading to passengers being overcharged. It wants London and Paris to set up a new system of regulation to cut those fees.
Now, babies giving a boost. Which baby, which boost? The expected arrival of a royal baby could give a welcome boost to the British economy.
Yes, apparently so. The first child of Prince William and his wife Kate, or the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge, as they are more formally known, of course, is expected in mid-July. Now, that's likely to increase spending on all sorts of things. Party foods and drinks, apparently, for those who want to celebrate. Also souvenirs as well, books, DVDs, this is the kind of figure that one retail institute has estimated, almost 300 million euros, and that's just in the space of 2 months, in fact, over July and August. And of course, after that, all eyes will then be on which brand of pushchair they use, which brand of clothing they go for, that kind of thing as well. So we'll see.
Probably good for France as well. Bottles of champagne.
That's right.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you, Matthew. Matthew with the baby news here on France 24. Now, in just a moment, very bizarre story of a cat running for mayor in Mexico. I kid you not. Today's web news, though, it starts with a story, in fact, from China.
If Chinese officials